Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Mahesh Kumar, Chief Marketing Officer at Acceldata, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Tiffany Perkins-Munn. Tiffany is the head of data analytics for connected commerce, payments, and digital wallets at JPMorgan Chase. Tiffany, welcome to the interview today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, Mahesh.
Working in a large enterprise, can you tell us a little bit about cross-functional collaboration and also how your payments and digital products teams? There's going to be some collaboration, some friction points and such. Tell us a little bit a story where the alignment was initially a little bit tough, but ultimately it became very transformative for the organization as such.
Yeah, I think in general, as AI is coming into play, and I don't think AI has made teams, obviously, and the management of teams and how teams work together and cross collaborate and cross sell is the history of business, right? So AI didn't bring that into existence, but I think with AI, it has illuminated the need for more structure in the way that we collaborate, right? So historically, there might be some structure, some organizational or operational structure in place where the teams pass off the work. So one team starts the work, passes it to the next team, passes it to the next team, and it's a little bit more of a linear process. That has changed over time, and AI creates a scenario where almost every team in that working group is using AI to iterate on their version of what it is they need to produce, right? So each team has a deliverable. They're each using AI either to make their process more efficient, to automate, to aggregate information, to summarize, to bring it together. And so what we do internally here is that we work in a quad structure. And the purpose of that quad structure includes product. So who are the people who are owning the product strategy, building the epics, figuring out, laying out sort of the broader objectives for what we want to accomplish in the product. And that's that they are in partnership in the quad with technology, with design, and with data and analytics. So in a collaborative quad approach, everybody, each of those areas might be using AI to execute their part of what the ultimate deliverable is, and then coming together to figure out how to synthesize the deliverable into a meaningful outcome or document or statement or whatever for the key stakeholder. And it's a critical piece of how you bring teams together to work in the most organized fashion in a way that makes sense for what we're trying to reproduce. And the interesting thing, though, is that when you're working together, collaborating like that, everyone using AI, you want to make sure that you have an overarching AI strategy, right? Because everyone needs to have a clear understanding of where AI is being implemented, how it's being implemented, what controls are in place, making sure that we have the privacy components in place, utilizing it to deliver your particular part that's then going to be brought together as part of a larger deliverable. And that AI strategy that overlays the initiative is critically important so that people don't go down a rabbit hole, right? So the quad structure really helps us to all collaboratively evaluate what's happening, who's doing what, which AI components are at play, what's the roadmap look like, and what's the timing for bringing all of our pieces together into whatever the ultimate deliverable is for the stakeholder.
Awesome. Just one quick observation is really around when we talk about using AI, the one good thing I see is it allows you to reflect the other person's viewpoints a little bit more easier, right? Rather than asking. So it can basically role play if you think about it. I'm a product manager. Here's my proposal. What do you think the reaction of this person, the other team is going to be to this? So you can kind of iterate better, I'd say, within your team so that you present sort of better formulated solutions, things that might actually accelerate to an outcome faster because you've already kind of leaned a little bit on AI to kind of give you that other perspective. What do you think
Absolutely.
about something like that?
Yes, absolutely.
You talked about privacy and guardrails and such when you're building these AI products. Um, you know, Switching gears a little bit in terms of governance and privacy and security,
Hmm.
how do you think the model has to evolve, right, in an agentic world where action and data is kind of in multiple different places? You're talking about really citizen data scientists and engineers who are actually building these data products and agents by themselves because now they have much more easy access to data. And how do you think that whole governance model has to evolve within the enterprise? What are the things, fundamental conditions that have to change, you think?
The stakes are particularly high when it comes to data privacy, to bias, to governance, transparency, and AI driven initiatives. So it begins with a robust framework for data governance, which is what you were saying, right? That prioritizes customer privacy, complies with like the regulatory requirements for things like GDPR and CCPA. And so it really involves implementing advanced encryption techniques and secure data storage solutions that will help protect sensitive information. So when you're addressing bias in AI algorithms, for example, it's crucial that we ensure like fair and equitable treatment of all customers. So that requires continuous monitoring and auditing of AI models to detect and mitigate biases that may arise. Could be a bias from skewed data sets or flawed assumptions, but the other thing you have to do is really foster a culture of like inclusivity into data science teams so organizations can better identify and connect and correct biases. And then ultimately, you need transparency. Transparency is achieved through clear communication with customers. How is their data being collected? How is it being used? What's the benefit from receiving any type of AI driven or communication or using AI? The one piece where I think we all across industries need to do a lot of work is this communication with the customer. I mean, how many times have you spoken to someone, Mahesh, and they're like, oh my God, I bought something on, some social media platform, and then I logged in and it's like they're tracking me. They're showing me things either that I already bought or similar things, and it feels a little creepy. And
Yes.
so a lot of people might opt out because they're like, oh, I don't like that. It feels like they're tracking me. But the whole point is this clear communication with customers will really help customers understand how their information is being used. So when I think about governance in the AI space, AI isn't new, right? We've been doing AI, machine learning and AI for years, especially at JPMorgan Chase. When we talk about generative AI, though, and bringing AI to the fingertips of the customer, then it's really about how we share with our customers what we're doing, set controls for their preferences, and make sure that we are aligned with how they want us to use our data. So the goal is to build trust with customers. We have to demonstrate a commitment to like ethical AI practices. We have to prioritize data privacy, actively address bias. We have to maintain transparency with them. And in that way, I think, especially a firm like a consumer bank like Chase, we can leverage AI to enhance the customer's experience while safeguarding their rights and interests in ways that they fully understand, which historically I don't think has been the case. I think it just happens. And that's where the creepiness factor comes in for consumers. And when they opt out, you really lose the ability to communicate and share with them. So the goal is to help them understand, to meet them where they are, and then to organize processes so that you have those governance practices in place.
Awesome. Yeah. I think what we also see is like, because data is very prevalent, you're thinking about on-prem systems, cloud, now it's going more and more closer to the edge, that governance practices and policies almost have to travel with the data. They have to be sort of almost enforced or implemented wherever the data is, as opposed to the old model of everything comes to one central large data warehouse and then, everything can be centrally managed. So we see governance has to become much more nimble, near real time, and sort of being applied at the point of consumption, also in the point of production and transformation, wherever the data is essentially, right? And any thoughts on something like that?
I think that the governance has to be, to your point, both local and global, meaning because it is because the whole purpose of AI, one of the purposes anyway, is to create personalization at scale, meeting people where they are is important. And as a result, there's a local element to how you are defining audiences, building target groups, utilizing AI to better pinpoint what a customer may need. But then there's also a more global view that you have to take around AI, meaning an AI strategy. What is the actual AI strategy that we're implementing to execute against an objective or to drive a business objective, whether it be efficiency, engagement, acquisition revenue, whatever the objective is. I think there's a way we have to think about governance as how do you bring together local governance around an objective with broader governance around how we use AI, either as a business, as a line of business, or as a broader capability across a firm.
Excellent. Let me close. For more interviews and insights, please visit cdomagazine.tech. Thank you.
Thank you.